Well, we know enough to know that Israel is guilty of serious crimes. Number one, the blockade that Israel imposed on Gaza is a flagrant violation of international law, according to Amnesty International. Number two, it was a humanitarian convoy. Number three, it was in international waters. Number four, Israel launched an armed commando raid in the dead of night. Number five, even if you grant for the sake of argument that Israel had the right to attack the ship, why didn't it simply disable the propeller on the boat? Israel has a formidable navy. It patrols the entire Mediterranean. Why didn't it surround the ship? Why did it choose the most violent option, an armed commando raid in the dead of night, leaving aside that Israel had no right whatsoever to impede a humanitarian ship from trying to provide supplies to a population that's facing, in the words of Amnesty International, a humanitarian crisis?
Using the Israeli naval force to disable the ships
Nobody asked you to use the Israeli naval force. Listen, you may be a naval officer, but number one, you're not a lawyer.
Neither are you, sir.
Amnesty International knows the law. Amnesty International, I'm not claiming to be, but I'm
Amnesty International is an openly anti-Israel organization.
Amnesty International, oh, sir, I know everybody in the world is anti-Israel except Benjamin Netanyahu.
It turns out that almost everyone in the world who's friends with you
sir,
is.
You're going to have to let me talk. No, you're going to have to let me talk. I was polite to you. So try to be polite in return. Okay? Amnesty International, which does know the law, said that the blockade is a flagrant violation of international law. The Goldstone mission, headed by Richard Goldstone, who's an internationally renowned jurist, he said the blockade is a possible crime against humanity. The law is quite clear there. Now, as to what happened on that night in the flotilla, you say the videos show clearly this and the videos show clearly that. Whose videos? There were many people on that boat. Why were their camera equipment confiscated? Why were their videos confiscated? Why was their photographic evidence confiscated?
May I answer?
What we have is the Israeli version of what happened. We don't yet have the videos, but we might tomorrow. We don't yet have the version or the video evidence from the passengers on the boat.
Actually,
if Israel has nothing to hide, if Israel has nothing to hide, why did it seize all the photographic evidence of the passengers on the ship?
It seized it.
Let's look at another question, sir. Mr. Naval Officer, let's look at another question. The Israelis claim that the commandos were shocked. They were surprised at the resistance, that they didn't expect any resistance, and that's why the melee happened. Well, if that's true, they expected no resistance, then why did they launch an armed commando raid in the dead of night? Why didn't they simply board the ship in broad daylight? If they really expected no resistance, they could have just come up to the boat and boarded. Does the Israeli claim make any sense? Let's look at another one of the Israeli claims.
Let me answer these things.
Let's look at another one. Okay, go ahead.
The first thing is about the videos. It is clear, because these things have timestamps. In fact, the people on the boats were in contact and released videos during the attack. We have numerous videos taken from on board from the people who were involved in the mission. But it's very clear, the answer to your question,
that were confiscated.
And it's very clear why the videos were taken, because before the evidence that shows the actual sequence of events can be doctored or destroyed. That's why the Israelis did it. And it's a fairly...
Oh, is that why?
Yes, sir.
Is that why? Because they wanted to preserve the evidence.
Well, they actually have shown the videos...
Do you think it's possible they seized it because they wanted to destroy the evidence? That's not possible.
I don't know if you've seen...
Israel couldn't possibly do that.
There's no doubt these guys are rappelling down from a helicopter.
I think you're going to regret what you're saying, because I have very good information that tomorrow a person on board the ship she managed to conceal 3 microchips in her underwear.
Let me go.
And she's going to release the video evidence tomorrow.
Let me interrupt both of you at this point because we have about 2 minutes left, and I have a question about this, and I thought this was a very valid question. The fact that this all took place in international waters, and I just want to hear a reaction from both sides about the fact that this supposedly happened in international waters.
There's no doubt about it.
Okay, got it.
It happened in international waters. Israel has admitted the exact location where it is. When you have an international blockade because of there's a situation of belligerency, blockades typically take place in international waters. Every blockade that's occurred in the last 100 years, the ships that are blockading take their blockading action in international waters. What happens is if a neutral ship, like a Turkish ship, comes across the international blockade, the navy of the belligerent power approaches the ship and says, are you carrying any contraband? In this case, the ship refused to follow the legitimate directions of that Israeli Navy ship. The directions were...
You don't know
yes,
that. What we do know is there was an armed commando raid in the dead of night in international waters. That's what we know for sure. After that, I can't tell you what happened,
well,
but I certainly wouldn't believe a single word from the Israeli government. Do you remember the Israeli government during the attack on Gaza when it was saying over and over again, we didn't use any white phosphorus? We're not using any white phosphorus. Do you remember that?
I do.
The same Israeli government which lies and lies and lies again, and then relies on people like you to repeat the lies while they try to seize and then destroy the evidence.
You know, Doctor, you're entitled to your own opinion.
The listeners,
you're entitled to your own opinion, but you're
sir,
not entitled to your own
I'm repeating the facts. Didn't Israel say during the Gaza massacre that it wasn't using white phosphorus, or have you forgotten?
You're wrong about the white phosphorus as well. Israel conducted that anti-Hamas operation in order to save Israeli lives.
Look,
I have one more comment to make.
Well, actually, and I hate to do this, I had to cut you both off because we did run out of time. I mean, that took all of 10 minutes. But I want to thank both of you, Daniel Pollack and also Norman Finkelstein up in New York, for being with us and at least shedding a little bit more light about this story. Thank you, really, for both of you, for telling us a little bit more about what had happened over the weekend.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.